Are you ready to rock the ribbon with us? It's time! I'm singing it! Let's do it! Blue burritos, yep, it's that time where we're gonna pull out all the things peppermint and get with it. Today we're tying a luxurious bow that is led by this 4-inch gorgeous. It's got a beautiful sheen to it. It's got a little bit metallic, but it definitely has those silver and white undertones, and it's almost pearlized. So that is going to be our base ribbon, and of course I couldn't resist a glitter beautiful peppermint. And then here we've added a little bit of a window pane with tinsel silver to really pick up the silver. We're going to be using this bow in a project. Yep, you are going to love that project. So if you want to know where we use it, just let us know here in the comments. We'll get you a link to the project also. But we need some silver in there too. So this is why this is just a perfect combination. So get ready. We're going to build this together, Blue Marinos. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys. So we've got our color palette laid out here. And we're going to start with our 4-inch ribbon in the back. So I'm going to pull these off to the side. And I love this combo. This is available in the kit for this project. You can get these exact ribbons. Now, we are going to be making a big swag bow. So what that means is I need a longer tail because I want it to really come out of this swag gorgeously. So this 4-inch ribbon is really pretty if we just curl it up on the end. I think it looks very nice. Or we can cut and dovetail it. So you can decide. I'm going to start with a dovetail. We can always switch back to the curl. So a dovetail is just kind of a chevron or a V cut in the ribbon. So I just folded it and then I cut it from the fold up. And so it makes this little angle, and then when you open it up, there it's called a dovetail in the industry. But it is a pretty, just a pretty V cut in there. So if you go the whole length of this bow maker, it's 20 inches. So I'm going to come right to the center, and I am going to twist right hand forward, left hand back. All right. Now I'm going to start really big over here at 7 inches. When it's big 4-inch ribbon, I think it's luscious, and I like to really get it out there and make it the star of the show. So scrunch this, then twist. That helps you get a little better, cleaner twist in the middle. And watch that loop. I want it to be all the way out to 7 inches. And sometimes when you twist, it shrinks down on you. So hold that thumb there, then scrunch. The neat thing is when you do grab our kits, they generally, any type of wreath kit is coming with a whole roll of ribbon. So you're going to have extra ribbon that you can use to make fun bows for other things to go with that kit. I love that we're able to do that. So it just makes it a little bit more, go a little further. Okay, that's our little tail there. So both our tails are done. 20-inch tails are just going in the background right now. Oh, this ribbon is juicy. I knew it would be. I knew we had to have it because it was just really juicy. Okay, next layer, candy. Grab the candy. I'm going to move my picks over just a little bit. With the candy, I'm going to cut it at an angle. And if it's on the right side of the bow like this is, it's going to cut at a right angle. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to add that right in here and let that cascade down. And now my right hand's going to go forward, my left hand's going to go back, and then I'll bring my fingers to the center. And I'm going to go in here at 6 inches. 6 inches. Twisting. 6 inches on the right, and then I'm going to take my right hand forward, left hand back, and let's just make these loops come to life. The candy, it's just so luxurious, but festive. Like, I want to go to this candy land. I want to hang out and get some amazing treats. I want to get the treats. Ooh, peppermint sounds great right now. With all the coughing I've been doing, peppermint is excellent. Okay, we can see we've laid out our next layer, and I am ready to put in our silver now. We really want to pop that silver in there, and I want to make some extra tails because this ribbon is so fun. It's frilly. It's got that frilly fringe edge. So go ahead and pop in a set of tails. So all this is tails right now, okay? No loops yet. So that's an extra set, and I made that just as long as my back ribbon. So that's 20 inches, 20 on the back. Now I'm going to take, and we're going to make another tail that's a little shorter, about 18, 16, something like that. And we're going to make a couple loops because I'm going to mix this in here, really pretty. And we're going to do 2, and we're going to put them all the way out, so a little bit longer. Twist when you come to the center. We want these to fill in and be really whimsical when they go in here. Let me double check my twist. For some reason that wasn't laying right. There we go. Nothing like a wimpy twist. We can't have wimpy twists. They gotta be strong so they'll look really, really full and pretty, because that's what we want. We want it to look pretty. It's Christmas time. We've been waiting all year to get to have some fun with our Christmas. I'm gonna cut these at opposite angles, guys. And I prefer them to go in. Now, it doesn't really matter with this ribbon. You can cut it just straight across. It's gonna be hard to see the cut, so we're good. Okay, now, bring back your 4-inch. We wanna really bring that color from the back to the front. That is something we teach in design school. Really super important. And if I bring this tail now, I want it to be much shorter because I don't want it to cover up all my pretty other ribbon. So we're gonna go about 12 inches on this tail and twist so it just layers in there really pretty. And this loop, we're gonna have it at 5, much shorter. Scrunch and then twist. It's a little bit easier to do when we're making little loops. And this one, I'm gonna put it at 5 and scrunch it just down really pretty. See it coming together? So classy. So classy. I'm gonna trim this one and then we'll take and dovetail it as well. Now, you can layer up as many layers as you want, but I am happy with this right here. So I'm gonna stop here and now I'm gonna take a cable tie. You can use a wire or whatever you prefer. I like cable ties. I'm gonna run it right beside my dowels and I'll add some pressure right here to get it tight. Once I've done that, I'm ready to go ahead and fluff this puppy up. So I'm gonna rotate that around back and start to fluff out my layers right here. Isn't that great? Look at all the pretty dimension, y'all. You're gonna have to see the video we use this in. You are going to love the whole finished project. It is beautiful. Now rotate this behind and we're going to add a cable tie right to the center. And that's how I'm gonna attach it to my finished wreath that we put it in. Now I'm gonna trim this off. Now the fun part is you get to accessorize the center. Just kind of like your purse or your shoes on your outfit. We're gonna accessorize the middle. And I know for me, the perfect choice is my candy, because my candy's really gonna pop. So I'm gonna pull out a strip of my peppermint and I'll just leave it on the roll, slice this up about 20 inches, and we're good here. And then I'm gonna take and fold it on itself. And we're gonna run that right down the middle. Run it right down the middle so we have a beautiful center. Look at that. Isn't it looking amazing? Pop a knot in the back, just a regular crisscross over knot, like if you're tying your shoes, and then trim that off. Yep, we did it. This is a killer bow, y'all. Oh, it's gorgeous, luscious. Hey, we're going to make our bow for our classic winter wreath that's going to be just so pretty. So we're just using plaids. This one's got like a diamond pattern that kind of looks like trees with all the pretty plant patterns on it. It's got some geometrics going on, but very organic too. And you could do this a lot more understated, but I wanted to really give it a pop of a bow that felt really Christmassy. So we're going to use a couple cable ties, of course, one to attach and one to tie the bow up with. So we're going to start with our whitest ribbon in the background. And this is the one with all the pattern. And I do want a 20-inch tail, so I'll measure that the full length of the bow maker and bring that to the center. And then I'm going to put my twist here to start us off, where my right hand went forward, my left hand went back, and my loops are going to be at 6 inches. So this is at 6 inches, and now my left hand goes forward and my right hand goes backward. Okay, and if you are left-handed, you'll need to reverse these, okay? You can just flip your bow maker around and just do it just the opposite. So I'm doing 2 6-inch loops on either side. We're going to space those out really pretty. And then you scrunch when you're done with your loops, okay? And now I'm going to bring it in, and we're going to just cut these at opposite angles because I'm going to be curling them up to when we hang that on the wreath. Everybody's at 6. Nice and flowy. Now we're bringing in some of the red stripe to break up all the pattern we've got going. And this time we're going to do 3 loops. So I'm going to cut this side at the same angle that we have going on the right hand side here. Okay, and it's going to be just a little bit shorter, almost the same, because we end up curling them a lot. So just about 2 inches shorter. Twist in the middle. And now these will be a little shorter at 5.5. Not too much shorter, just a little. Twist at 5.5 for the loop length. Okay, and twist. And we're going to do 3 on each side. 1, 2, and you twist in the middle. And 3. And 3. Scrunch it and bring it on down. Okay? And have those opposite each other. Now, what you want to do is I'd go ahead and space those out now. So you have your spacing. And you kind of see your design start to come together. So one loop goes above each one. And then one goes in the middle. Just like that, okay? Now we're ready to bring our plaid in next. And this one, you want to put it on the spool holder where it spins away from you. We're going to do the same thing. I'll cut this at an angle. We'll bring it down. And this time we're just going to do 1 loop here in the middle. Okay? And this one will be about 5, so just a little bit shorter. So we'll bring the pretty plaid back to the front and scrunch. So the recipe for this bow is what you call a 2, 3, 1. So we did 2, then we did 3, and then we did 1. All right, now I'm ready to take that off with the cable tie, just running it right beside the dowels in the middle. Put your fingers on top, gently bring it up, add some pressure. Okay, and now I can take it off, and this is the most important part. It's going to be to fluff it up. Fluff that center section and separate each of these out. Do you see all the dimension? That's real important to have a successful bow. We need the bows really having a pretty loop to them. Yes, it's good to be loopy, as we would say. It's good to be loopy. See how pretty? Okay, all pretty dimension. Add the cable tie to the back. And here's the fun part of this type of bow. We can get to make that center either disappear or pop out, whatever you want it to do. If you want it to disappear, use the ribbon that you have on the top, the plaid. If you want it to pop out, use the contrasting ribbon, which would show up a little better, which would be that stripe on this one. So I'm going to use the plaid because I'm fine with it kind of just melding into the background. So just cut a piece. It's about 10 or 12 inches just to make it easy to work with. And you fold that down so you get a nice little strip like this and run it down the middle. And see how pretty that is with the green in the middle? That looks really classy, clean. And then put 1 or 2 knots in the back. If you can get 2, go for 2. And then once you're done, we're going to trim that off. And you've got it. A beautiful 2, 3, 1 recipe. Hey, Bloomerinos, we're getting ready to make 2 bows just like this for our latest kit. And I'm going to show you how. We're about to work with the 2 cutest ribbons that come in our latest kit. So I'm going to show you how to make a sweet bow. And I'm not going to tell you about the rest of this kit yet, because guess what? I want you to be surprised. So if you'll just put the word bow in the comments, I'll tell you what the bow goes to. And then we'll be able to pop in here and give you a link so you can see the rest of the project. I'm going to make this bow where it's heavier on one side and lighter on the other. And so we're going to accomplish that by having fewer loops on one side and more on the other. And I'm going to keep them a little, what I call is asymmetrical, so they're not matching on both sides, right? So I started off with this tail 16 inches, and I'm going to make this one a little shorter and dovetail it also, just like that. So I have that going down, okay? Really fun. The neat thing about our kits is you'll always get full rolls of ribbon. So it allows you to have extra to create other things to go with your project. I'm going to bring this one, lay it right on top and twist. And then this one will go almost 6.5, I think. I mean 5.5. And 5.5 over here. And then one more over here. And I just love how that looks. And we get a really sweet bow. I'm going to bring that down and dovetail this one also. So this particular project we're doing, we're going to have a bigger bow on one side and a small bow on the other. So this is our larger bow that we're starting with right now. Now I want to take it off my bow maker. So I want to go ahead and put a cable tie there and bring this around. And then I'm going to fluff it up. I love this stitched ribbon. It has a great feel to it. I love that. Now I'm going to come in the back with a cable tie, so that way we can attach it to our final piece. And then I'll just cut this little pokey part off. And then I like to kind of come in and camouflage the center. So I'm going to use a little of, I think I actually like the plaid for the center. So I'm going to cut like about a 12-inch strip, and then you can make several centers out of one of these so you don't waste any of it. You don't need it all thick. And then just kind of keep this with your roll. I usually just put a pin in it with my roll so I've got it together. And that could be the center on my next piece. I just kind of fold that on itself and run that down the middle. Put a couple of knots in there to hold it. That keeps that looking neat and clean. And then I love the way this bow turned out. Are you ready to see it? I love it. So we have 2 loops at the top and then 1 loop at the bottom of each color. And the nice thing is that's going to hang so pretty on our design for how we're going to use it. Now let's make the second bow. So we'll put this one off to our side here to get our second one going. Our second one is going to be a little bit smaller. And I really don't want any tails on it per se that are hanging down. So we're going to start with an 8-inch tail here, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to dovetail that puppy. So come on in and dovetail it. Now my dovetails just barely hit 8 inches. So it's not quite as long. I usually make those a little bit longer. All right, now this one's more symmetrical. So go 5.5, twist, 5.5 on this side, scrunch. And let's get another ribbon tail here. That is going to dovetail out right at 8 inches. So you fold and you cut up to get that. And I like it 1 tail up, 1 tail down, very, very minimal with the tails. And now bring your stitch ribbon to the top. And remember, this is all available in our kit that you're going to grab. So if you want to see the other video that goes with this, don't forget to pop bow into the comments and we'll show you. This is going to be smaller, 5 inches, twist, 5 inches over here and scrunch it because we're just going to be done. I'm going to layer these right on top. Really pretty. Really, really pretty. And then let's come in and gently take that off my bow maker. Okay, I'm going to put that off to the side. Now, this one I'm going to rotate around and I'm going to fluff it up and just have a nice sweet little tail. See, not a lot of long tails on that one. I'm adding the cable tie to the bottom and I'm going to pull it really tight. And let's go ahead and use our plaid. Again, we have our other piece of plaid here. I'm going to just fold it up. I love this ribbon, it's so pretty. And then I will take and put a couple of knots in there and be ready to rock and roll. Y'all, I can't wait for you to make this particular bows to go on our latest door hanger kit. And I can't wait for you to see how we use them. It turns out adorable. I'm here with Khalees.com, and I'm going to show you how to make a really loopy, kind of that wispy looking fun bow. It is going to be used in one of our wreath projects we're making. I've got 3 ribbons here we're going to use today, and they are all more narrow. They're 1.5 inches wide, and I'm going to take and mix these to make just a really fun combo. The design we're going for is very natural and rustic, cottagey feel, and that's why we have these ribbons picked out. Now we've got one here with a nice, like, it's got a rough texture, and this one is flat, but it's got on that burlap background with this little bit of zigzag rickrack. It gives it that kind of that country feel, really classic. And then one of my favorite ribbons to use is a window pane, and this is a really pretty fuzzy window pane that we can use at Christmas time because it's got this neat texture. And I'm going to layer that in just sheerly for the texture and the depth and the drama because it's a really dark red. Let's start off with our stripe in the background. Load up your Easy Bow Maker, and if you don't have an Easy Bow Maker, we've got a link for you to grab one. We're going to do these tails at 8 inches. So I'm going to come in at 8 inches, and I'm just going to leave that tail cut at an angle. That's fine right there. And have that kind of tail go up. Now, we're going to have all these loops very loopy. So keep a nice curve to it out at 6 inches, and then I'm going to twist. Everybody stay in 6 right now. 6 inches, twist, right hand goes forward, left hand goes back, and we're gonna keep doing that. Let's do 3. We're gonna do 3 of the stripe, because this gives us this really, really neat texture to our bow. So I've got 2 on that side, now I'm starting my 3rd go round, and everybody's about 6 inches, and I'll measure it up, and now I'm gonna have this tail kind of come down at 8 and just cut that at an angle. Now I'm going to take and fluff all these out. Look at that, and tails up and tails down. I love, love, love what we got going. So a great base to start this bow. Pop that off, and now we're going to come in with our window pane. And this window pane is lightly wired, so it doesn't have like a really thick wire. It gives you that floppy look, which is super fun to put in here. So I'm going to put this tail in right at the top. And you can see how this is picking up this really, really cute deep red. And we're going to put these in at 6 inches. So anytime you want to use a floppy ribbon, you still can. You just pop it in on your layers. So I put it on top of a more dense layer. So I'm going to bring this in, and it can lay right on top of it. And now I'm going to put this right here and cut that tail to go there. Okay, so I've got the stripe, and then I've got the red. Now, bring in your rickrack. We're going to put that one in next, and this gives it that country feel. And now I'm going to lay this tail the opposite way. So we're going to measure out 8 inches, and I'm going to cut this opposite, so this away. Almost cut that wrong. Just when I try to get those rights and left straight, you know, to get you. It took me most of my life to figure that out. Now I cut the angles wrong. Now we're going to come in with, I think we should go with 3 loops again. This is just a fun, whimsical bow. So let's do it. Let's stack up these layers. So I've got 1 on each side. I'm holding it in the center as I get higher here on my design. And I kind of came in a little bit. I'm at about 5.5 now as far as the loop length. Okay? We're going to bring this in. If you love making bows like this and you want to learn how to add these things and create more designs like this, we would love to have you in design school, where I teach bow making, wreath making, swag making, all things floral design, arrangements, all of that every week. Come and join us in design school. If you are a design school member and you are watching this, you know, let people know what you think about class and what are some of your favorite things you enjoy when we're all together learning. Now bring your next layer back. Guess what? One of my biggest tips is you bring the ribbon from the back to the front, and we let this be really super loopy and fun. So I'm going to put this tail on this side, and now I'm going to make it a little shorter, so it'll be about 6 inches on this tail, because I want it just to kind of pop towards the center. And now we're going to put our last little pop in about 5 inches and twist. And this is like the ultimate funky bow, where we layered up a bunch of layers. You see how we got these pegs so far apart because we've got so many loops. Those of you who are OGs, you are Bloom Room OGs. You know this is 3, 2, 2, 1. That's the layers of the bow. 3 loops, then 2, then 3, and then 1. So 3, 2, 3, 1. All right, now I'm going to trim this off. My cute little tail's going. Oh my gosh, there was a little seam in the ribbon, and how perfect. It worked out perfect. I love when that happens. Sometimes that does not happen, but today it did. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take my cable tie. I like to use cable ties to hold the centers of these bows really tight. And so run that right beside the ribbons. Put a finger on top and gently pull this up. All right, get some nice pressure in there. Okay, now we're not done. You have to pull your bow maker aside and you got to get to fluffing. So flip this around, hold it tight in the center without doing anything else yet. Just holding it with your finger, and we're going to shape this bow on out into beauty. Beauty goodness. Look how pretty. And I'm going to shape her out. And so I start layering up the layers where I want to do. You see all the dimension? That is critical in bow making, wreath design, all of that. I'm always just drilling that into my students, that it literally, that is where your money stands when you have dimension. And that's what makes your work look so much prettier. Isn't that a gorgeous bow? Y'all, it is. It wins. Winner, winner. Okay, flip it over. Add your wire in the back. We're going to put a cable tie, because we are going to use a cable tie on our wreath, and get that tight. So pull that really tight. Now trim that little pokey part off. I'm going to trim that off and flip it over. That's my happy to see you cable tie. Boom, he's coming off. I like to come through the middle with a little bit of, you know, depending if you want the middle to show. If you don't want it to show, you could just leave that green cable tie we use, that'd be fine. But I always like to bring a little bit of kind of what I would call the contrasting ribbon. The ribbon in here that sets the patterns apart is this red. So that's a great one to use through the middle. It's very inexpensive. And when you do fold it, it gives us this super cool texture. It's got all this little, you know, like a, I don't know, like some kind of cool bumpy yarn, you know, feel. I love that. That looks really cool in the middle. So we're going to put a couple knots in here. And once again, adding texture to your bows with the depth and dimension, it's all going to be a winner. And you are going to have a killer bow, just like this. We're working with 4-inch ribbon. You don't need any special equipment except for a beautiful 4-inch ribbon, some scissors that are pretty good because they got to be able to cut the wire in the ribbon, and we're going to use some cable ties. And I'm just using 8-inch cable ties. I use those instead of wire. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by doing our tails. I know our tails, I want them pretty long for this. I want this to be a big, beautiful bow. So I'm going to make them first this time. So I'm going to take one tail here, and we're going to trim that. We're going to keep these completely separate. So I'm going to trim this off, and we're going to make them first. This is about 32 inches. And then I'm going to do, instead of a dovetail cut, we're going to do a reverse curl. So I'm going to just trim these little wires off first to get them out of there, and make sure you get those little guys in the garbage. Be really careful because we don't want those to hurt anybody. And I'm going to do a reverse curl. So I'm going to, because this is reversible ribbon, so it's so cute to curl up the end of that tail and just curl it up. And now you see how pretty that is when you see the tip of the ribbon. It's really cute. And you can even make that wider, whatever you want. So a reverse curl. We're going to do 2 sections like that. So let me cut another tail, because I want this bow to have this gorgeous, really full tail. All right, I need a little extra for my curl. So I'll cut it a little bit longer. And we're going to make the tails first. So they're going in the back of our bow, and I'm just going to curl this around. Now, depending on the ribbon you're using, if you don't have like really good quality ribbon like the one I'm using, where the wire can hold it, you might need to tack a little glue on there to hold it in place. And I'm going to try to curl these up to where they both have that green part right there. Let me see if I can get the green. Oh yeah, that's what I want right there. So they're kind of matchy-matchy on the curls. Now what I want you to do up here at the top is take and just gather them together. So I'm going to get a good gather on this one, okay, and a good gather up on this one. It's a little bit stiff because this is a iced ribbon. And look at there, we've got our tails started. I've got the right one, the left one looking good, and I've got the top part gathered. Just take a cable tie, slip it under, and this is going to be our tail section of this bow. All right, so I'm just going to slide it under and get that nice and tight. And that's why I like cable ties, so they can hold so much tighter than wire. All right, you can trim off the pokey part, and we're going to get ready to do the bow part. So what I want to do is just come from either side and come into the middle, depending how long I want that to be. This is about 7 inches, this is about 8. I think I'm going to go with about 7. So we want these to overlap in the middle. So before I trim it, I'm going to just kind of come back over here, work it backward, okay? And I want to I need a little overlap. Now, there is a connection point in this ribbon, and you might find that sometimes on a roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this part of the ribbon out, and we'll let that stay there and be in the back, okay? So I'm going to bring this one over about 7 inches here, and I'll keep this little piece here for centers, because we'll need it for centers. So I'm going to cut that there. I need to have enough room to overlap. So we'll pull that out, because that was a little piece right where the ribbon had a connection, which is no big deal. You're going to run into those on ribbon. Don't freak out about that, guys. That's how ribbon's manufactured. Sometimes you're going to get that part of the roll. Don't lose it. So they're overlapping a little in the middle. Okay, just a little bit now. I'm going to put this off to the side. We're making our first loop to this bow. I like it. And once I'm happy with how that is, I want a little overlap. That's going to go right in the center. And this will be the back part of my bow, okay? Not going to do anything yet. We're just laying it out. Don't crease it. Just keep it nice and flat. Now my next layer of this bow is going to be shorter. So if that one was about 8 inches on either side, so it's about 16 inches total. This one I want to be a couple inches shorter. So this one would be 6 on each side. So I'm looking at about 12 inches on either side. So I'm going to cut that. And then we're going to find the middle here again. I don't want a whole lot of overlap, just enough, just about 1 inch overlap on either side. Let's see how that would work. So just lay it right in front. Okay, so that ended up not being quite as small as I wanted it to be. Let me go a little bit smaller. Just gonna take a little off. The reason you can't have a whole bunch of overlap in the middle is you'll end up trying to hide it all in the bow when you get to getting ready to cinch it up. Okay. So you see this one's a little longer, this one's a little shorter. And 2 or 1 inch difference, it's up to you, whatever you want it to be. We need one loop like that and one like this. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're gonna gather it up right here. And we're gonna get it really pretty, and we're gonna put that seam to the back, okay? So there's our first loop of the bow. Okay, pretty easy, you got it? All right, hold that down there. Now I'm gonna gather up my second, just start working with it. I'm going to do that right on top of the other. Hold it in place, or put something heavy on that middle one. Okay, and I'm going to lay this one right on top. So my first layer lays right on top of my top layer. And I got to make sure I'm in the middle, or it's going to set it all. Oh my gosh, that's so sticky cute. Look how pretty that's going to be when we loop it up. Okay, we got a good start. We've got a shorter on top of the longer. Now what I want you to do is go ahead and cable tie that in the middle. I'm just going to run that underneath. And we got to get some pressure on this. This is some really pretty ribbon, and you know, you could use this as the start of a tree topper too. You could just build this out. Now don't get that too tight yet, because we want to work on this center. Now you got to be careful yanking on it, because you've got pieces that are pieced in the back there, remember? Okay, look how pretty. Look at all the depth. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Gorgeous. Now, we're going to go ahead and put a cable tie behind it. And that's how we're going to attach those tails in a little bit. And pull that really tight. Okay, and then we're going to cut that off. Now bring our long tails back, and we're ready to put this puppy together. Look at here, look at here. Oh my gosh, you see her coming together? Look how pretty she is. So that's why I said this could even go at the top of a tree. You could make one for one side of the tree and one for the other. Now I want you to trim off this section of the fat part of the tail. We don't need that. And we're going to go on with that cable tie right behind it right here and put that into place. I hope this is helping you kind of see it doesn't have to be really complicated to make a bow with a 4-inch ribbon that's really elaborate like this and iced and really pretty. We're going to be using this to make a swag, so if you need the link to that video, let us know. I'm going to put that right on those tails. Don't let it pop off. I'm going to get it real tight. Don't let it slide off. Yes. Trim that off. So the tails are on, the bow is on. Looka, looka, looka. Oh, it's so cute. So you can see how good this is going to work for my swag. Now we're not quite finished. It's time to do that, what I call in design school, the detail, the embellishment that takes it to the next level. And whenever we're doing that, that's going to allow us to be able to get a higher value for the things we are selling. So because this ribbon is reversible, I love for you to come back with the reverse side right up the middle of that bow and through the tail. Okay, this is a little thick like this, so I'm going to cut it shorter. Not really shorter, but less width. I'm going to take it down in width. And I want you to take and just fold this over really simply. Fold it over a little so we get a nice finished piece. Now, it's up to you. You can run the seam down the middle like that of the bow, or you can flip it over and have it neat and clean. It's totally up to you. I'm going to go on the back side this time and let that pretty plaid show. Y'all know I'm mad for plaid at all times. Run that right through the tails, which gives you some nice separation on these tails. Look how pretty that looks in the middle. Can you tell? It's green, but it's so pretty. And if you wanted to use a section of the ribbon that was more red, you could slide it up and down, whatever you want. Don't get that tight. I'm gonna pull it tight. This is some really nice ribbon. You don't need a lot of it to make these really gorgeous bows when you do it this way. But let me show you how pretty this turned out. Okay, let me layer out. So you guys can do this too. We didn't need any special equipment. All we needed was our 4-inch ribbon and then some scissors to cut it. And we did use a little bit more cable ties than we would on a normal bow because we were attaching these tails, but I can't wait to show you this type of bow on a Christmas swag. This ribbon is gorgeous, and how pretty is that going to reflect all the lights on the tree. Hey Blue Merinos, we're getting ready to make a bow. We're going to be using an easy bow maker and 3 rolls of ribbon. This bow is going to be very whimsical, but we do want it to have nice long flowing tails. These type of bows are great for all kind of different applications during Christmas. We could put this type of bow on any type of embellishment, of course, like packages, things like that. We could add them to a garland on our mantle. On the end specifically would be really fun. It's also fun to add bows to your existing artwork in your house for the holidays. So when you get 3 rolls of ribbon like this, you've got plenty to make several bows. All right, what I'm going to do is take and start with my solid red in the back. So we're going to load that on the bow maker, and I'm going to put these 2 off to the side. The solid red is going to start off being a lot of our base foundation, and I also want to have a couple of tails. I do want long tails for this bow, so it's very showy. When you come to the center, you're going to move a right hand forward, left hand back, so you give it a nice twist to get it going. Then I'm coming in with my loops, and I am going to be out at 6 inches on this bow. And then you're going to do the same procedure when you hit to the middle. Left hand's going to go forward and right hand's going to go back. Same thing, it goes opposite depending the side you're on. And we're going to start to set our foundation with this nice solid color by using them on both sides. And when you get done making your loops and you've got enough, you're going to take and bring your tails up here, and we're going to cut them at opposite ends. So I like to cut that one coming forward and that one coming in. So you get the V look from a far away direction, like when you're looking at it. All right, loops on both sides. Now let's put our next one in, and I'm gonna pick our most bold pattern, which I love this one because it's got all these great trees on it. Triangles, you know, if you're in design school, you know I'm in love with triangles at all times. I'm a weird math nerd, and that helps bring beautiful design also. Now I'm going to dovetail this ribbon to start it off, and all that means is I'm just going to let it have a little V end tail in it. And once I've done that, I'm going to bring it in, and I want this to have a long tail too, just a little bit shorter than the last one. So if we were at 20, we're at about 18 inches. Now I rotate my hands, right hand goes forward, left hand goes back, and I'm going to come in at 5.5 inches right here. Same twist, and we're going to do it on the other side. Okay, and just scrunch that down, and this dude is starting off so pretty, so pretty. And I'm going to bring the other tail up, and we're going to just mirror the cut. So I'll bring it in and cut it straight, then I'll dovetail it, boom, just like that. Okay, so those tails are really pretty. Now come back with the stripe, and we're going to use that on the next layer. And I'm just going to dovetail this one. Also, you can also angle cut it, whatever you prefer. And I will bring this one right down the center. and I want it to be a little bit shorter. So we were at 20, 18, and this tail will be at 16. Hold it right in the center when you get ready to pull back with your left hand. And if you are left-handed, you can switch the bow maker around. And if you guys need any of these supplies, we'll have a supply list for this entire project, so you can grab what you need to make this exact bow from our website. You guys, if you never shop with us, we carry really beautiful ribbons. We carry high quality, and we got different price points. So we've got really fancy ribbons, and then we've got more affordable ribbons. But I still really believe in having nice quality wired ribbon, because it really makes a difference when you're going to make your pieces, you know, stand out from everyone else's. Okay, so far we have a 2-1-2 recipe, and we only call the loops from one side of the bow just for clarity. So I'm going to finish this off with just a pop of the red in the center, and we're going to do what we call a bow tie. Bow ties are super cute because they just add a little pop, and you don't really need a any kind of special cut on the tail because you're going to make a loop, okay? And the loop is going to come to the center, and we just want them to kind of overlap in the back. So once you kind of get an overlapping point, we're going to do this. Grab them here, bring this to the middle, make sure it's pretty centered, and then I'm going to scrunch it on down, place it right in, and that is what we call a bow tie, and it finishes off our bow so super cute. Now grab your cable ties, and we're going to run right beside our dowels and bring this up, and we're going to have a great bow here that's just screaming, let's do Christmas. Isn't it fun with all the fun colors? Now I moved my bow maker out of the way, and I am going to start to fluff this up. This is something you have to take time and do properly. So I start with the middle, and then I separate the two stripes, and I want to put our fun Christmas pattern right between those, and then separate the solid red. You can see I just build out my bow from the back forward. And take your time. There's no rush here. Enjoy the process. Let all the layers come together to make a beautiful bow. And when you're all done, we're going to go ahead and add a cable tie to the back. I like to put these long 11 inches in the back because then it's really easy to attach it to my finished project. Get that really tight. And we're just going to trim that off with some wire cutters here. Boom. And then I'm going to rotate this around. And it's a no-brainer for me to bring this really pretty, bright, bold pattern into the center of the bow. And that'll bring our eye into the middle, and we'll be like, yeah, party in the middle. So I love that part. So I'm going to take this and just slice this right down the middle. And we'll just get a little strip. About 12 inches is ample. And then I'm going to just fold it to get a nice little strip of that color, and you can do that as thin as you want. I'm going to keep it a little bit thicker than the cable tie. You see how finished and polished it looks? It just adds this great little touch. And I'm always saying in design school that depth and dimension mean more money in your work, and if you want to learn to make pieces that are beautiful and later sell them, we are here to support you on that journey and would love to teach you. And little details like that kind of matter. So take the time to make something beautiful for your home today and share it with us because we would love to see it. A little birdie told me that you were scared to make a bow, and you are like, oh, how do I do this? I'm here to help you. And by the way, I'm Kali with Kali's.com, and I teach all things floral design, and holiday decorating is the go time. And I want you to learn how to use wire ribbon and make beautiful bows. If anything, just for your gifts that you're giving this year or your tree, you can really be, ribbon can be a real game changer. And I think you'll be shocked if you just play with it a little. It's not that difficult to use. So this ribbon right here is from Kali's.com. It's wired along the edge. So when you hear somebody say wired ribbon, what they're talking about is the edge is wired. Why do I need wire ribbon, Kali? I see lots of pretty non-wired ribbon because wire ribbon sticks up and it pokes out. And I'm always cramming down my design school students' throat in the sweetest way as I possibly can. I'm cramming down that we want wired ribbon because it gives us depth and dimension on our bows. And it gives you those bows you dream of as a kid on your gifts, like the holiday ribbon candy. Okay, this is why that candy was created, because it looks like beautiful ribbons and bows, and that's why we want wired ribbon. You know, it always comes back to some sweet treat in our brain, right? This is it. Wired ribbon is the key, okay? So once I have a nice wired ribbon, this is 2.5 inches wide, and that's kind of a width that's going to show up good on your tree. You can go bigger to 4 inches. If you have a smaller tree, you might want to go more narrow to 1.5. Those are the common widths of ribbon. So in case it was confusing, that's what we're talking about with widths of ribbon. So the first thing you want to do before you start this bow is you're going to need a pair of scissors, you're going to need a roll of wired ribbon, and then I'm going to use some 18 gauge wire. If I'm making these bows for my tree, I just need them to be on a wire where I can pack them up and take them off for the next year. Okay, so here's my tail. You want the tails long enough so they can kind of show, and you can curl them and let them come down the tree. So if you could go for about 30 inches on a tail, then you're good. You're going to have a lot of length to let that kind of curl out and come out the tree. So I'm going to grab it right there. Now the rest of the roll, you're just going to let it fall on the floor because it's too complicated to try to keep it up. We're going to make this by hand today, so you don't need any special devices, just easy by your hand. So once you do that, you're going to twist right here and hold that twist. The reason we're twisting is because you can see the back of the ribbon is not as pretty as the front. So we want to make sure we twist. Now to measure your loop size, just take your fingers. We call this hang 10. We use hang 10 a lot in design school. The reason we do that is because it's simple measurement. It's built into your body and helps you have consistent sizing. So just take and hang 10. I know I need to come down just a little bit. It's a little bit too fat. And generally on my hands, this is 6 to 7 inches, okay? So on yours, it might vary, but it gives you a guide to go by. So I'm back at the front now, so I'm gonna just gather that just slightly, and then I'm gonna twist, okay? So I can come around and make my next loop. And this one will come around the back, and we're gonna do the same thing with the hang 10. Okay, hang 10, measure it, hang 10. So my bow is looking really pretty so far, and she has 2 loops. And both her tails face forward, and she's very pretty. This is fine. This is fine. You do not have to make it more extravagant than this. This is beautiful. But, of course, we're gonna go a little further. Twist again, okay? Twist again, make your next loop. Just keep rolling out your ribbon, just pull it up. And I'm gonna make this the same size as the last one. Just gather it in the middle, and then we're gonna twist again. Okay, and then I'm gonna loop it back around. And I'm just making sure that my loops are about that hang 10 size. So we're pretty consistent. That's a little too big. I'm gonna downsize it just a little bit. There you go. So just make sure, once you make a loop, you can just kind of measure it off the other loop. Spread them out, and look how you have now here another bow that's super cute. And I have 2 loops on either side. Look, you did it. You did it that easy already. Okay, and we're gonna take it just one more step. We're gonna add our third and final loop, and this one we want to be a couple inches shorter than our last one. So easy. We're gonna come in and make it a little bit shorter right here. And you can look at it, you can see, okay, that'll balance out pretty. Oh, I want it a little longer, you can pull it a little longer, okay? Don't panic, you got all this in one hand, but you got it. Twist, and here comes my last loop right here, popping in, okay? And I want to make sure that these are kind of consistent on either side. I can, once I get it tightened, I can pull it a little bit back and forth. Generally, I'm going to teach to use cable ties in the middle, and if you do that, it's hard to pull the length longer, but I think we're good here, and I'm happy. I've got 3 loops on each side, and I've got a really cute bow coming together. Now, what I want you to do is take that wire and come right through the center, which I'm going to do right here. And I'm going to pull that center as tight as I can and twist it. You want to rotate that to the back, though. I've got it in the front. Pull it to the back. So this is the back of your bow. Now, before I go any further, let's cut these tails to match. Now, what's really kind of pretty on a tree is if you have a short and a long one, because the long one trails out the tree and the short one just follows it behind. So how about we go with that idea and we cut this one just a little bit shorter. So it'll be shorter. So the whole tail game should be a long and a short. So you have two different length tails coming out that tree. Now right here in the center, my last step I'm going to do is really fluff this up. And I'm fluffing it up facing me so I can see it for a second. And then I'm going to move it towards you. And look, how stinking cute is this bow? It's super simple. It has a total of 3 loops on either side. We got a great candy stripe. And once I add that in my tree, I want to show you how cute it would look. This is just a piece of white pine, but I want to show you how cute is that when we add it into our tree. And there's our long tail going down and our short tail going on top. And how simple. So that's a really easy hand bow you can make. All of a sudden these bows could go all over your home. So head over to Calise.com, look at our ribbon, pick out 2 or 3 ribbons. Once you pick out one, get 2 others that go with it. And all of a sudden you can mix and match these in your home decor, add them to your tree, and have so much fun with just a simple, this is a 6-loop bow. And in design school, we call it a 2-1 recipe. And we did it by hand this week, but so easy. I know you can do it. Hey, and if you're not already following us and liking and subscribing, please do that, because there's a lot more where this came from. And this is such a simple technique that is a winner. Blue Merinos, we're getting ready to make the cutest bow. We're going to use this one on a door hanger we're making. But this type of bow can be used on so many different projects. And basically we're going to use a 2.5 inch really fun glittery ribbon in the back with polka dots to get that little pop going on with the black. And on top we're going to put a peppermint candy. So the combination is going to be really cute. And I want you to notice, just like I would teach in design school, because we have the dot on the edge, when we bring in another texture visual print that looks like the dot, even though this is a peppermint, it's got glitter, it's got all the good stuff on the texture, but it's got that visual representation of it being like a polka dot. So immediately these ribbons go together, and we can definitely pull the red and the glitter out of both of them. So it's a really perfect way to mix ribbons together, even though you think, hey, I don't know if that works. Of course it does. Dot, dot, yeah. Line up the dots, we got a winner here. So we're going to start with the dark red in the back. We're going to use our Easy Bow Maker today. If you don't have one of those, let us know. We have an affiliate link for you to grab one. And they are super easy to hold your ribbons, and they work great when we're going to mix more than one ribbon in our design. So I do want a longer tail on this one, but it doesn't need to be super long, because this is kind of a smaller door hanger. Or it's not small, but it's not huge, right? So my go-to length on tails is 16 inches at that point. So I'm going to cut this at an angle to where it's going to point down to the right, okay? And I'll show you why when we get towards that part of the bow in just a second. So 16 inches, I'm going to bring this to the center. And now my right hand's going to go forward, my left's going to go back, and that's the right hand side of my bow. Now I'm going to start over here and do my first loop at just 5 inches this time. A little bit smaller today because we're making a door hanger. So a nice little pop at 5 inches. Then we're going to do 5 on the other side. Okay, and I'm going to scrunch that down. We are only going to do 1 ribbon in the back of this beautiful, juicy, glittery ribbon. Now I talked to you about the tails a second ago. I'm going to cut the other one just to match it, but mirror image. So that way they get a pointy, kind of their own chevron shape, or their own dovetail when you put the 2 ribbons together, okay? Does that make sense? So those are both done at 16 inches. You can see my beautiful tails coming down. Now grab the peppermint that I talked about. It's got the perfect bit of polka dot. We're going to layer that right on top. So I'm going to do the same thing. This time, instead of curling, I'm going to dovetail itself. So I'm just going to fold it and cut from the fold up. Let me do that one more time. I kind of missed the edge. There we go. See how cute? They get that little chevron shape. Now I'm going to take this and bring it over here, and I want to layer it a little bit shorter so it lays really pretty, and I can see that detail in there. And I'm going to twist right hand forward, left hand back, and now I'm going to do 2 loops, and these are going to be a little bit shorter at 4.5. Okay, 4.5. I'm going to bring it in and twist, And then we're gonna get this cute little pop of the white polka dot candy on top of that glitter. I love that. I love that. Yo, there are some like crows or ravens out there. They're talking. You hear them? They're the boss. I don't know if you guys can hear them on the video, but they're telling us, hey. All right, I'm gonna cut that, and then I'm gonna take and just fold it, and we'll dovetail this side too. All right, so we've done that on both sides, and I've got a star or an X going right over my pretty red underneath. And I am done with the building of the bow, and we're ready to take it off. And today, because we are using this on a door hanger, I'm gonna use a brown cable tie in the back, and it's a little bit longer because we're gonna be using this on a burlap door hanger. And I'm gonna use a regular green one in the center to help pull it off the bow maker, okay? You can definitely use wires if you want to. I prefer cable ties. They can get tighter than wires can. They do take a little adjustment when you first start working with them. Like this one's gonna be ornery, but I got it. Now I'm gonna rotate that to the back, and I am going to shape it up. Okay, where the red comes through the candy. That's so cute. And one of the details I like to add to our bows will be a center ribbon coming down the middle to kind of finish out the center of the bow, but you can see our shape is looking good. So I'm just going to put the bow maker to the side, and then I'm going to put this in the back, pull this tight, and then what I want to do next is grab a little strip of ribbon that will go down the middle to kind of hide our mechanics. And it's not just for that, it adds in a detail that I love, because in this case, we're going to bring the color from the back ribbon towards the front. So what I want to do is just cut a little strip of ribbon in half. We don't need it a full piece. About 8 to 10 inches is easier to work with. If you try to go shorter, you'll struggle making your knot and getting this fold exactly right, okay? So I get a nice strip of that glitter red. I love that. Okay, it's sparkly. And now I'm gonna run that right down the middle. So every time you do the middle of the bow is an opportunity to basically showcase the ribbon and the contrast. This recipe today we're teaching you, we call it a 1-2. We call the bow loops out from one side of the bow in design school. And that's important for us to have clear communication about how we are making a bow. Just trim off those tails after you get your knot in the back. And if your ribbon, if you feel like it's going to come loose, pop a little glue on there if you can only get one knot in. If you can get two, I feel like it's much more secure. But look how stinking cute this bow is. It's simple, it's perfect for the project we're going to be using it on. So make sure you check the supply list for this project. It will have the ribbons we use, but it'll also have links to the other videos that we use this project in when it's all completed, all right? Hey there, Blue-Marinos, it's Kali, and look what we're gonna play with. Ribbon! Today we're playing with some squiggly glitter net ribbon. I can't wait to see how easy it is to work with and how you don't always need multiple ribbons to make a beautiful bow. Let's get started. So this bow today is going to be for a swag. So whenever I'm gonna have a swag, I like long tails. Long tails so they can flow behind that swag. So on this particular design, if you go the whole length of the bow maker, that's 20 inches. I want to do about 24 for just a little bit more. I love this squiggly net and it's so pretty, you know, if you curl the ends. So let's have it a little bit longer. So I'm gonna go about 24 inches and then I'm gonna bring that right to the middle of the bow maker. Now if you'll just put one twist, one hand will go forward, the other will go back, and you'll get your first twist in here. The reason we want to do that is we want the pretty glitter side on the outside of these loops. So I'm going to pull that ribbon back with my left hand, and I am going to make this first loop at 6 inches, okay? Keep it nice and loopy and twist. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. 6 inches over here, and I am going to twist because I want 2 loops. This kind of bow is really super easy, and when you use a bow maker, yes, we have a link for the bow maker if you'd like to get one. We have an affiliate link we can share with you, and that way you can grab a bow maker just like this. So I twist when I put it in, and then I scrunch at the front when I'm done making loops. So I'm done. I wanted 2 at 6 inches in the back, okay? So how pretty is it? It's just a classic looking ribbon, and it makes a beautiful bow. So now I've got both these tails. We're gonna just cut them. I like to just cut them at an angle to each other, okay? Just so they're a little finished on the edge. Boom, just like that. Bring those down. Those are your long tails that are going in the back. Now, let's make our next loop, okay? And this loop, I want to have tails as well. So I'm gonna bring this in and cut this to match the right-hand angle, because I usually start on the right-hand side of my bow. So I'm gonna do that here. And we're gonna make this just about 6 inches shorter than our last tail, because we've got a really long front tail. I mean back tail. So this will be our front tail. And these loops were at 6, so you want to go a little smaller so you bring the eye in. When I'm teaching in design school about how to do florals and have your arrangements have lines and depth and dimension, we use lines to bring the eye in and create a flow on a design. And that's what we're doing even on a bow when we bring those loops in. So all the links are intentional. So 6 and then 5 and 1 loop in the center, and we're going to cut these on either side to match also. What a beautiful bow. This is super simple, but effective, right? Effective. This is a classic kind of mercury glass looking bulb, and you can see how pretty that is with this type of bow. Now we're going to use this bow on a swag, but these bows will look gorgeous on trees as well. When you use this squiggly ribbon, it allows the light to come through from the tree. So and that bit of sparkle is gorgeous. Now I just ran a cable tie right beside the dowels. I'm bringing it up. And what we need to do is, before we get too far on the fluffing, we've got to rotate this to the back. And it's not all the way tight. And that's important because we have to put our attachment wire or cable tie in the back before we get any further. So you can see I want to separate the 2 back loops with the front loop right here and continue to space it all out and section it till I get this beautiful flow. Like, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's all in that placement, and it brings that eye to the middle, and I love it. Now, you could put a wire in the back if you're going to make bows for your tree, but remember, we're making this for a garland, so it's going to be permanently affixed to the garland. So I'm going to get that really tight, and then I'm going to use my wire cutters just to trim that back piece off. And the last and final step I do on my bows, it's a little bit different, is I like to cover the mechanics of the bow. You can see there's a little bit of green in there. I want to hide that. I want it to look really professional, polished, and finished. So when I do that, I'm going to take and slice up a piece of the ribbon, because this is 2.5 inch wide ribbon, and we don't need that much. We just need about 10 to 12 inches so we can get a little strip to go through the middle. And I like to fold this on itself, so just fold the back over so you get a nice strip of the glittery side. Okay, and you make it nice and skinny, and then you just run that down the middle, and you have the most polished, finished looking bow you ever did see. Y'all, if you haven't made bows like this and you want to learn more, we'd love for you to come join us in design school, where we teach floral design, of course, swags, garlands, wreaths, centerpieces, all the things, but we're always doing bows and new bows, and I keep trying to make it more and more simple to teach you how to make beautiful pieces like this. And we're going to tie a bow today for the Christmas season that you are going to love. We're working with some gorgeous red velvet. Then we've got this fun pattern with, it's got a little glitter and a lot of polka dots and all the fun little trees on it. I love this one. It kind of gives that quilted effect, because today's bow is going to go for a project we're doing with a country Christmas wreath. So you're going to see how these 2 patterns are going to work great to come together to achieve exactly what we want. Come on in, let's get started. If you've never made this kind of bow before, I'm happy to teach you. It's going to be a long tail bow, and what that means, it's got longer tails that kind of can cascade down your wreath. And in design school, where I teach hundreds of ladies every month, and gentlemen, how to make beautiful wreaths, we love to use long tail bows in our designs. So this is definitely a great tip I want you to take into account. So the first thing you do is, I like those tails to be about 20 inches. I'm going to measure the 20 there, which is the whole length of the bow maker. If you don't have a bow maker yet, we have an affiliate link we'll be happy to share with you. Just ask in the comments. And if you want to see the finished project this bow is going in, let us know too in the comments. We'll be happy to share that with you as well. I'm going to twist here, okay? So this is a 20 inch tail going down the right. Now we're going to the left side. And my standard loops are generally 6 inches for this size wreath. So 6 inches and twist. And we're going to keep it nice and loopy. We're going to come over to the right side and 6 inches and twist again. And I'm always twisting if I want to do another loop, okay? If I'm done with my loops, then I know it's time to scrunch in the middle. And the reason we're doing all that, guys, just like I teach in design school, is we're doing that because we want the back of the pattern to be hidden or we want it to show, okay? And that's why we either squish like we're doing here or we twist if we're making another loop. Simple, simple. So we have 2 loops on each side, and now I'm going to trim this off. And I've told the story before where when I was selling hundreds of wreaths every month in my Etsy shop, and now I'm able to teach other students on how to, you know, not only make beautiful wreaths, but if you want to sell them, I can teach you that as well. One of the tips was, you know, you've got to come up with a process that you can maintain for your particular workshop when you're creating yourself or you have help, you know, eventually in your business. And so we created the lingo for these bows, and that's why we'll always call a bow from one side when we call out the recipe. So you'll hear me say that, and that's because I had to create that own lingo for my warehouse team when we were creating, and we were selling lots and lots of wreaths so we could communicate. So that's why this wreath so far, the recipe is a 2 loops on one side. Now we're going to start the next side. This is a gorgeous velvet, and it's a really pretty red. The red has a little tinge of pink in it rather than the red with the orange. So that is such a pretty classic red. I love that. So I'm going to have that tail just a little bit shorter. And the reason I do that is so this lays out really pretty when it's hanging down the door. And now we're going to go for 3 loops on each side. So you guessed it, you knew, the recipe is 2, 3. It's a 2, 3. And as you get closer to the center of the bow, we're going to go shorter. So here it's 5 inches, a little bit shorter. So 5 inches on either side, and we're going to do 3 loops. Right hand forward, left hand back when you're on the right side, and the opposite when you're on the left side. So you can see I'm holding it in the center when I get ready to loop. And you guys, if you just started making bows on the bow maker, or you're wanting to make them by hand, just realize you just go slow, take your time. It's just a lot in your hand. That's why I like the bow maker, because it helps you hold it. But I made lots of bows without it before we discovered it a long time ago, and just either way is fine. You can do it either way. So 2 loops, then 3 loops, and I'm going to cut these tails to the same length. So I'll just bring them up here, and I am currently just angle cutting them at an angle. All right, now let's put on the top layer. The top layer is going to be our pattern again from the back. That's a classic move, a tip from design school. Classic because it's just an easy one. We're going to do a little bit different this week because we're going to make a bow tie in the front. So bow tie is just a loop with no tail, all right? So you make a nice little loop, and you want to figure out about how big you want it on either side. So we just had everybody at 5, so let's go like 4.5. That loop's got to overlap in the back. So once we do that, we're going to take and just gather it right up. And then you're going to pop this in the center of the bow maker, and you got a really nice, clean, finished look. All right, so it's a 2-3-1. It's a 2-3-1. Not quite a blast off bow. If you've been a Blue Merino a long time, you know what a blast off. It's kind of almost a reverse blast off. Okay. Over here I have cable ties. I prefer cable ties to use in the center rather than wire. It's totally up to you, but they can get so much tighter. They're one of my favorite things to use. So I'm going to run this right beside, and we'll just bring it straight up. So you guys, if you're not on our text list yet, grab a spot, because then we'll text you out when we have new videos like this, or we have new projects. You won't miss anything. And you'll know exactly what's going on over here at Khalees, because not only am I teaching, I'm always trying to inspire you to decorate your homes in beautiful, beautiful looks and designs and what's trending. And I really try to make it easy for you to learn floral design. Classic combos and gorgeous patterns. I love the lines and direction. And we can always create lines and direction with ribbons, but we can also do it with florals. So we'd love to have you in design school. If you want more information about that, just ask in the comments. We'll be happy to pop it in. Or you can text us anytime at 832-734-5201. Or you could go to Text Khalid, TEXT KELEA.com, and sign up there for our text list. Look, stinking cute, classic. That red, this is a beautiful velvet, and it's hard to get this pretty color. Some are, you know, flat or a little bit more orange than I like. So definitely stock up on this ribbon on Achilles.com because it's gorgeous. So the supply list will have the ribbons we're using, and it also will have links to the video where we use this bow in the finished project. So you can catch it all. Now I'm cutting a strip of ribbon because I'm going to run that right down the center. I'm always big at covering our mechanics, and so that's something I teach a lot of in design school, that we have to build things that are really well constructed, not only for us, but for our customers. If we want to have customers and sell, we want stuff that's going to hold up. And I love the details like this. So we just folded that in half, got a nice little strip, actually probably more like thirds by the time we cut it, okay? And then that runs right down the middle. You see how finished it looks? One of my favorite things to do. 2 knots in there if you can get them. 1 and 2. But if you're struggling with bows, come join us at Design School. We've got hundreds of videos of bow making, wreath making, all the things. I think we're up to over 300 courses recorded in the tutorial, in the portal. And then that doesn't even count the lives. So we've got so much for you to consume whenever you're ready. This particular bow we're making today, we are going to have short tails on those. These type of bows, we like to call them funky bows because the tails will go up and the tails will go down. And I'm going to show you on this video how to do that step by step so you can do this really easy for your next project. So we're going to start off with this red and white stripe. One of the neatest things you want to do with this type of bow is I'm going to use this on a door hanger, so I don't want the actual tails to be long, blocking all the words on the door hanger. I don't want it to hide it. So I'm going to take and make these short tails so we can kind of control that. My go-to length is 8 inches. Feel free to play with that if you want to do it shorter or longer. You have all of that control when you're making your bow. But you can see here already I've got my first tail going up. Now I'm going to come in and do my loops, and I'm going to keep these loops at about 7 inches. This is a pretty big project we're making, so I like these to be nice and bold. So I'm going to loop over my loops here, and we're going to do 2 of these, 2 on either side. So 7 on the left, and I'm going to twist, and you can see I'm fluffing it out while I'm doing it. That means I'm positioning this right up where it needs to be. Okay, and I'm going to come in here at 8 inches also. We'll trim that off, and then we're going to dovetail it. Now, if you're off a little on your measurement, it's no big deal. You can always come back and trim these shorter or longer. But the key is I want to watch those twists as I'm bringing it all into the middle, okay? So now we're ready to put on our next layer of ribbon. And I am going to use this pretty like formal swirl. This goes so good with our design we're going to do today. So I'm going to take and trim these. I'm dovetailing them, so once I fold it, I just cut that up from the cut up. So I get that nice little V shape. And we call that a dovetail. It's also like a chevron. And I'm going to go a little shorter. As you move in towards the center of the bow, you generally like to shorten the length of the loop. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to go out to 6 inches here and 6 inches here. And you guys, what are you making special for yourself this holiday? You've got to be doing something special. Or what's in the works if you haven't had a chance to do it yet? What is your plans? Okay, and this time I'm going to put 3 of these. So I want to get a good pop of this swirl in white. I think it's just a nice little, a little bit more formal kind of look, a little bit more, you know, classical. I cannot wait to see what your plans are to make for yourself, because y'all deserve something beautiful too for your home. If you haven't made something for yourself yet, you've got to. You've got to mix that in the mix. We always get so busy doing our own businesses that we don't even have time. See? 3 on either side. I love it. My tails are still working opposite, up and down. Now we're going to come in with this stripe. This stripe is pretty cool because it's got this little bit of iridescent string running in there, and I love that. This one's gonna run right on top of our other stripe. I'm gonna bring it in and twist it. And we're gonna put 2 of these in. And now these are even shorter at 5 inches. So you can see how we're working in towards the middle, a little at the time. I love it. Making bows does not have to be hard. You just take your time, you watch those folds, you twist, you scrunch, and you just build it up. And it's so easy to build it up from the back to the front and get this nice look. Okay, and I'm gonna dovetail this too. And this is just so pretty. Oh, my little piece fell in there, but I love it. Now I'm gonna finish out the center with just a little finishing touch. And we're gonna use what we do in design school quite a bit. In design school, we use what we call a bow tie in the center. Just make a loop of the ribbon, and we're gonna make it a little bigger than I think I need it to start with. And then you just overlap these and make your own little bow tie here, okay? Fold it on itself, and then you just gather it right up in the middle. Now this is that really nice ribbon, so you wanna crunch it a little. Okay, and once I have my bow tie, I run it right up the middle. And it always gives me a really, really polished, finished look to my bow. Look at that! I mean, that's a bow like a pro. Y'all, you could do bows like pros as long as you're hanging out with me. I'm not gonna leave you hanging, literally. I'm gonna keep you going. And my design school students know it. They have the videos where they can walk through each step of each bow on every project, and I teach them why we use those bows on different projects and what we're looking for when we want to create those. So this part, we're going to fluff it up and get everybody in their own position. Okay, so they've got to get in their own zones. And I love when you do this, you're going to see your bow all of a sudden come alive right in your own hand. Just keep squishing it in the center and hold it tight while you fluff it up. And the key is this. This is the key. The key is that dimension. That's what you're looking for. We want dimension in our bows. We want dimension in our floral designs. Dimension is key. And if you decide to sell your work and you want to learn how to do that, I'm here to help you and teach you how to do that also. But in order to get top dollar, you need dimension. So start kind of getting that as a mindset that you want to work towards that too in your work. All right, now I need to attach on the back here my cable tie. That's going to allow me to put it on my finished project, and then I'm going to get that nice tight and trim this off. And I like to finish off my bows with I like to add one of the ribbons back to the center. And in this case, I think this stripe is just perfect because it's just going to bring our eye right to the middle of the bow. So I just cut a little strip and I'm going to fold it on itself. Make a nice little strip that runs down the middle, and you can watch those stripes and decide how you want to lay it out. Like I'm going to put that white stripe right down the middle, and that little detail always finishes out my bow so stinking pretty. I love that. And I'm going to come in and tie it tight. Ah! Don't throw it. Don't throw it across. Trim off those edges. And you've done it. You've made a gorgeous Christmas bow. This one we're going to use on a project we're making together, but you can see how easy it was put together. And just follow my instructions, and I'm here to help you guys. Are you ready to make this bow with me? We're going to make it by hand. No special equipment needed. Let's go. And make a really simple hand bow that I know you can do. It doesn't take any special equipment, just ribbon, a way to tie off the ribbon like a wire or a cable tie, and then you're going to need some scissors, and I'm going to show you how. So the first thing you're going to do is you need to think about how long you want your tails to be on our bow. And I want mine to be, roughly 12 to 16 inches. You pick what you want, and I'm going to dovetail this just by cutting it and making that little V shaping in the end. And then our next step is, once you know how long you want it to be, we're going to just kind of lay that out on the table and kind of decide that's our length for our first tail, okay? And things don't have to be identical. When I come to the center, I twist it, all right? And when you're rolling your ribbon, sometimes you might just let it fall off the table and hit the floor, and it might be easier. The twist brings the back of the ribbon the pretty side backward. So you flip it over so you're ready to make your next twist. And so that's what we're doing right there. And I'm gonna start to stack up these twists, okay? The hard part of this is just holding it all in your hand. So I've got my first twist done. I'm gonna bring it around. And you can see, okay, oh, it's starting to kind of shape a bow. I see one loop on each side, okay? And if I pleat that right there in the center, and I wanted to finish off, this would be a nice little simple, just 2 loop bow, one on either side. Of course, we're gonna build up and we're gonna make it even prettier there. So I'm gonna twist and we're gonna add some more on this side, okay? So over here on the left, I'm gonna put another loop in. I kind of gather it and then I twist it. You can see I kind of switch hands there just to make it a little easier holding it. And now I've got 2 loops on each side, okay? And I could have the fun ribbon just kind of coming off, and that's a really pretty bow also. We're gonna go 3 on each side, okay? And then this time when you bring that third one, and I'm gonna go ahead and let this hit the floor because that's a little bit easier to maintain it. I'm gonna break this one a little shorter. So that way, you see how it goes between those two and it's a little shorter? Yeah, simple. Okay, pleat it, twist it, okay? So I can build up these layers slowly and steady. And look how cute. So I've got a kind of a tail coming off the back and a tail coming off the front. I've got a beautiful bow. Now here's where you want to grab your cable tie or wire. I use cable ties because they let it get really, really taut in the middle. And that kind of helps you hold this so pretty. So let's just take and gather that up and start to manipulate all of this and just flip it around. Look how pretty. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, you guys. You did that all by yourselves. Now let me take this one, we'll cut it, and we're gonna dovetail that too. Now, this back tail is kind of twisting on me, so I wanna watch it. Get everything really nicely positioned. There we go. And now, go ahead and pull that tight, but you need a way to attach it to whatever you're putting it on first, okay? Instead of coming back and trying to put that in now. Alrighty, look at there, simple bow. And from here you could build up and you can layer different layers of ribbon, but for our project today, we're keeping it pretty simple. Now, the little detail I like to add to the middle is I like to come into the middle and cover that with just a little piece of our ribbon. I'm gonna grab our same ribbon, just cut a little piece, and I'm gonna fold it on itself here. So you take and just fold it and go right down the center. And now look at that clean, finished, pretty bow. Isn't that beautiful? Just a knot back here to hold that in place. And you can take these, if you want these tails to show, just make sure you're showing the pretty part to the front. Like if you wanted these little pieces to come up, you could and trim them. I'm not gonna use them, so I'm gonna trim them off. But if you wanna leave that piece long, you can have some more tails kind of coming up right from the center. I trim that off. And we did it, and you made this beautiful bow. All right, Bloomerinos, go have fun with flowers and, of course, ribbon. Are you ready to create a beautiful bow together? Let me show you these beautiful ribbons we're going to use to create a winter bow to go in a classic black and white check wreath we're making. Do you love it? I know you do. Come on in and welcome. I'm Kali, and we're going to show you beautiful ways to make floral designs and bows, all from Kali's.com. Y'all, today we're making a grand bow for a winter wonderland wreath, basically that has a black and white check motif going, and snow and beautiful greenery, and the coolest balls, y'all. You're gonna have to come back and check out the wreath, but right now we're gonna make the bow. This is a gorgeous 4-inch juicy, beautiful ribbon. If you've never played with 4-inch ribbon, I'm gonna really encourage you to, because they're just so gorgeous, guys. Y'all, and if you want more information about anything we're doing, you're gonna wanna text us at 832-734-5201. Text me the word live and we'll let you know anytime we are live, okay? And just getting on our list gets you all the hookup anytime we are doing something new. Now this is a 20-inch tail, which is kind of my go-to length for bold patterns. So I'm going to bring that to the center. And with this 4-inch ribbon, I don't mind it folded over like that. I like that as a finishing edge. You can totally do that. So 20 inches is the complete length of the bow maker. I'm going to come right to the center, and I'm going to twist right there. Now, if you guys need the link for the bow maker, just text me the word bow, and we'll send you all the bow and bow. Now, this is a big wreath, so I want to make this nice and grand. We're going to go all the way out to 7 inches on here. And then when I get to the center, I'm going to twist. And make sure you keep this loop nice and full and bold. I think it's just so pretty that way. 7 inches on this side. And I'm going to do 2 loops of this big juicy ribbon in the background. So we're going to have 2 on each side. Okay? 7 on this side. And I'm twisting, and we're going to hold that in the center and continue to fluff those out as we're creating. And then 7 on this side. And scrunch that down. I'll bring these tails together, and we'll have 2 20-inch tails. Just cut this a hair bit longer because I am folding it over and kind of cleaning up that end. So just 1, I think 2 is good. And scrunch them down. If you have like a thicker ribbon, you need to pop a couple dots of glue, you could do that too. No problem. Now, our next is this great black and white stripe. I use this black and white stripe all year long, guys. It goes with so many different motifs. So I'm going to come in and cut it at an angle. This is a vertical stripe, and it just works so great rocking out against the check. I'm going to keep this tail just as long as my last one, maybe an inch shorter, not much shorter. Twist it in the center, and now I'm ready to come out here. I'm going to do 2 loops. Actually, I think I'm going to do 3. 6 inches, 1, so that's 3 on each side. Here we go. And this is a little shorter, that's 6 inches. Twist, hold that in the center, and let's keep going. 6 inches over here, and I'm going to twist. Just keep fluffing this dude out. And the nice thing is you're going to see your bow kind of come to shape right in front of you. Okay, spread those out. Let's go for 1, and then we're going to do 1 more. Okay, so our recipe so far is 1 loop on each side and then 3 loops on each side. So we've got the check, and then we've got the black. All right, bring that in. I'm just cutting these guys at opposite angles back here in the corner. I haven't left you. Now, one of my favorite ribbons is this narrow black and white check that has a black on the back. Ooh, it's juicy. So I'm going to come and bring this in. These tails I'm going to make about half the size. And we're going to twist, and I'm going to hope I can get 2 loops on each side. I have cut this roll before, so I think I can. So our final recipe would be a 2, 3, 2. 2 loops, 3 loops, 2 loops. We started at 7, and we went to 6. And now I'm going right at 5, okay? This is a premium ribbon, so it's really, really full. Once you work with it, you'll just be like, yeah, I just need that ribbon forever. It's so beautiful. And it pops up so pretty for you. And it looks great at the front of the bow here because you can really manipulate it so well. See me popping it out. Oh, yes. So pretty. Just measure those the same. We'll cut that off. We're good to go. And now we're going to be ready to take this bow off the bow maker. And the easiest way to do that is you're going to grab your cable ties. You can certainly use wire. I prefer a cable tie. You'll need 1, and that's how you're going to attach it to your wreath, and 1 to go right down the center. So here we go. I'm going to open this dude up and just go right down the side. Gently put a finger on the top, and here we go. Yeah, we're getting it in there. Now get it nice and tight. And now you can put your bow maker to the side, and we're going to rotate this to the back and fluff it out. Just fluff it right out. Isn't that gorgeous? It just is coming together so pretty. So you want to try to get the bigger, thicker loops kind of separated by these 3 in the middle, and then separate those 2 with these 2. So you kind of are laying out your placement as it all comes together. And once you're happy with everything and where it's at, flip it over and put your other cable tie in the back, and this is the one that'll put it onto the wreath. And once again, if you're making a bow for something else, you can pop a wire back there. Get that nice and tight, and we're ready to cut that little piece off. beautiful. And now I want to come down the middle, and I'm just going to cut a piece of this pretty black and white stripe. I think it's going to look great. So let me get my scissors, and I'll just cut probably about 12-inch piece. And when it's a wider ribbon, we can just split that down the middle. And that can do 2 centers for 2 different bows. So hang on to that piece. And then I'm just going to fold it on itself, and we're going to go right down the center of this bow. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Right here. Okay, isn't that looking great? Now take and put a couple little knots in the back. 1 and 2. And our bow is done, guys. Hey, if you don't like, follow, and subscribe, please do. You'll never regret coming over here and joining all the floral design fun, y'all. And this is going to go beautiful on this winter wreath we're going to put together. So come back. When that video's up, you got to see it all coming together. Have fun. And if you need the link to anything, just text us the word link, or put the link here in the comments, and we can definitely help you with whatever you're looking for. All right, Bloomerinos, until we meet again, have fun with flowers, y'all, and make everything beautiful. Bye, guys.